Hello, and welcome to the City of Vernon's Malburg Generating Station. The purpose of this presentation is to provide you with the information you need to work safely while you are on site. Whether you are a foreman or a crew member, you are responsible for working safely and refusing any task that feels unsafe. If you are not fully comfortable with the work assigned, stop immediately and do not continue until the issue has been resolved. No job is worth an injury or a life. At this facility, if a task cannot be performed safely, it will not be performed. Our purpose today is to provide you with the information and support necessary to ensure your work is completed safely. So let's begin. The City of Vernon assigns a representative to every contractor working on site. Their role is to ensure you have the information, support, and oversight needed to perform your work safely and in coordination with plant operations and other contractors. Your City of Vernon representative is your primary point of contact for site information, safety guidance, equipment needs, and work coordination. Please follow their instructions carefully and feel free to ask any questions at any time during your work on site. Let's get started with a quick overview of the site layout. Overhead photos can be difficult to interpret at times, but this should help you get oriented. This is the front gate to the right where you enter the facility, and this is Station A on the bottom left-hand side, the building you are most likely in right now. We also have a rear gate, which is on the upper left-hand corner of this picture, and that is used as an exit point only. Please take note of this next area. If a plant evacuation becomes necessary while you are on site, the primary mustered area is located at the front steps of Station A, as shown by the arrow. Your COV representative will ensure you and your crew report there and will provide further instructions as needed. If the primary mustered area is compromised, the secondary evacuation area is located just inside the main gate. Your COV rep will guide you to the appropriate location in this situation as well. Because we're in Southern California, earthquakes are always a possibility. Station A's east wall was designed for easily removal to allow access to major equipment, which means it has minimal structural support. In significant earthquakes, this wall is likely to collapse. If an earthquake occurs, stay clear of the east side of the building. If you are indoors, use any other clearly marked exits. Do not exit through the east doors. Several situations could require a plant evacuation, such as a major fire, a hazardous gas leak, a security threat, or an earthquake. One chemical hazard to be aware of is aqueous ammonia, which we use for emissions control. Although less hazardous than anhydrous ammonia, a major release could still produce dangerous fumes. In such an event, the tank drains to an underground containment system, but airborne vapors may still pose serious health risks. Windsocks above the plant help the control room and your COV rep determine the safest evacuation direction. Unless your work requires it, avoid the ammonia take area. We have several safety programs in place to protect both our employees and contractor personnel. All contractors working on site are required to follow these programs and comply with the direction of the plant management and your COV representative. In this presentation, we will briefly cover key programs including lockout-tagout, confined space entry, hot work, fall protection, and other essential safety requirements. Additional details are available from your COV rep, and if you have specific work requires further training or orientation in any way, your COV rep will provide you after this presentation. Let's begin with lockout-tagout, one of our most important safety programs. Lotto protects workers by ensuring equipment cannot be accidentally energized or started while work is being performed. This is achieved by physically locking out all potential energy sources. Your COV representative will guide you through the Lotto process, coordinate the permit with your supervisor, and confirm that all safeguards are in place before work begins. No work may start until everyone, especially you, is confident that the Lotto protections are effective. If you are working on equipment covered under a Lotto permit, you must apply your own personal lock to the designated lockbox. You will retain the only key, ensuring no one can remove your lock or expose you to danger. Every worker must apply and remove their own personal lock at the appropriate times. Never leave your lock on the box at the end of your shift and begin work the next day without reapplying it. If you do not have a personal lock, the plant will loan one to you. Your COV rep can assist you with this. Lastly, if you see a lock and tag on equipment, do not touch it. Removing someone else's lock is a major safety violation that puts lives at risk and will result in immediate removal from this site. If your company has its own lotto program, it may be used in addition to ours, but never instead of ours. There are several confined spaces on this site. While our facility presents fewer confined space hazards than most industrial environments, some spaces do require caution and, in certain cases, a permit for entry. Always stay vigilant. Permit-required confined spaces are clearly labeled at the entrance. These signs are there for your protection. Never enter a permit-required confined space unless a valid confined space entry permit is in place. These spaces require additional safety measures such as atmospheric monitoring, reliable communication, and a rescue plan, all of which can be established before entry and maintained during the work. Other confined spaces may not require a permit but still require specific safeguards to eliminate hazards before entry. Follow all posted signs and instructions. Your COV representative will ensure you have the information, controls, and protective measures necessary to work safely. If your work involves entering a confined space, your COV rep will walk you through the required procedures. If you have any questions or need additional information, simply ask. Let's move on to our hot work permit program. A significant amount of hot work occurs on this site, especially during outages, and the purpose of this program is to prevent fires. We apply the requirements based on the level of risk in each area. Some areas, such as the fabrication shops or locations with no combustibles, may not require a permit. In a higher risk area, a hot work permit will be issued, and additional precautions may be required, such as a fire watch, a readily available fire extinguisher, and a post-walk monitoring period to ensure no smoldering materials ignite. Hot work on this site includes cutting, welding, burning, and even grinding. Essentially, any activity that produces flames, sparks, or enough heat to ignite materials is considered hot work. Now let's move on to electrical safety. At the Malburg generating station, we work with voltages up to 69,000 volts. As you can imagine, this level of energy can be extremely dangerous, so we treat electricity hazards with the highest level of respect. The most effective way to stay safe around electricity is to keep your distance. You will see barricades, warning signs, and restricted area postings throughout the plant. Please follow them. Do not enter electrical rooms or restricted areas unless your work specifically requires it and you are authorized to do so. Although there are hundreds of switches and electrical controls on site, none of them should be operated by contractors unless they are specifically trained, authorized, and assigned to do the task. If it's anything beyond a standard light switch, please do not touch it. Now let's discuss fall protection. Malburg Generating Station is an operating power plant and falls under OSHA's general industry standards. However, many outage-related tasks, and possibly some of the work you will perform, can also be classified as construction activities. Because it is not always clear which standard applies in every situation, we use the more protective requirement for all work on site. That means fall protection is required for any task with a potential fall of more than 4 feet, whether the work is considered general industry or construction. Your company is responsible for providing personal fall protection equipment, but if you have any questions or need assistance, please reach out to your COV representative. Now let's review personal protective equipment. Malburg has a specific PPE policy that applies to both employees and contractors. Your COV representative can provide full details, but the basics are as follows. Hard hats and safety glasses with side shields are required at all times, except in designated low hazard areas. Hearing protection is required whenever posted. Dust masks or respirators must be used when working around dust or insulation work. If a respirator is required for your job, you must use it under your own company's respiratory protection program. Work boots with a good ankle support are required. Safety toe footwear is only required for a task that specifically called for it. Hand protection should match the task. Use appropriate gloves at all times. Proper clothing is required. Be prepared for weather changes and note that sleeveless shirts are not permitted. Short sleeve shirts are the minimum requirement. If you have any questions about PPE or need assistance, your COV rep is available to help. Now let's discuss the operation of equipment on our plant site. All equipment is operated exclusively by Malburg City of Vernon personnel. Contractors are not permitted to push buttons, start or stop motors, turn valves, or operate any system that is part of the power plant. In addition to plant systems, we also use support equipment such as cranes, man lifts, and forklifts. These are for authorized plant use only and may not be operated by contractor personnel unless the plant manager has given direct approval. If your company brings its own equipment onto the site, the operators must be fully trained, qualified, and experienced in using that specific piece of equipment. Unqualified operation poses a serious safety risk to everyone in the area. As part of our hazard communication program, safety data sheets are maintained for every chemical on site. Your company is responsible for supplying the materials needed for your work and must provide SDS documentation for any product brought onto the property. Before using any chemical, review its SDS so you understand the associated hazards and required protective measures. If you transfer a chemical to a secondary container, it must be properly labeled. Never leave an unlabeled container on site. If you have any questions or need assistance accessing SDS information, please contact your COV representative. If you need to bring your company vehicle into the power block, it is generally permitted except for major outages, when space becomes too congested. Coordinate any vehicle access with your COV representative in advance. Always drive slowly and cautiously. There is significant foot traffic and many blind corners. The site speed limit is 5 miles an hour. Use your horn before backing and stay alert at all times. When moving or operating mobile equipment such as cranes, man lifts, forklifts, or other rolling stock, you must use at least one spotter to prevent collisions in the tight areas of the power block and to alert nearby personnel. Parking availability changes depending on the size of the outage and the number of the personnel on each site every day. If you cannot find a spot in the designated parking areas, please ask your COV representative for guidance on the best available location. Please note that parking spaces directly in front of the building are reserved for city vehicles only. Smoking at Malburg is not permitted indoors, including inside any equipment enclosures. California law prohibits smoking in enclosed workplaces, and we fully comply with that requirement. In addition, state regulations prohibit smoking within 20 feet of building entrances, exits, or ventilation intakes. Smoking is permitted outdoors only and must be done responsibly. Please dispose of smoking materials properly. A designated smoking area is located east of the control room. Your COV representative can provide additional details if needed. Please use only the designated area when smoking. Now for a few final reminders. Always use tools properly and select the right tool for the job. A screwdriver is not a chisel and a wrench is not a hammer. Inspect all tools before use to ensure they are in safe working condition. For electrical cords or drop lights, check cords for cuts, nicks, or exposed wiring that could pose an electrical threat. Fire hazards do exist on site, even when the hot work program is followed. While we have limited means to extinguish small fires, if you encounter a large fire, move away immediately. We will contact the City of Vernon Fire Department if needed. If you are injured, notify your supervisor right away. They will coordinate care with your COV representative. Minor injuries can be handled on site or at a clinic. Serious injuries may require emergency transport. Your company is responsible for providing personal protective equipment, but if you need assistance, your supervisor and your COV rep can work together to help. Please keep the site clean. Our staff takes great pride in maintaining a safe and orderly facility. So clean up after yourself and leave the area as you found it. Contractors must use the designated restroom facilities located outside Station A. Portable restrooms and hand wash stations are provided during major outages. Your COV rep can direct you to the nearest locations. Do not use the restrooms inside the building. Above all, if you are unsure about anything, ask. Confusion and assumptions lead to accidents. Clear communication prevents them. Working safely is your responsibility, and it is an absolute requirement on this site. If at any point you do not feel completely safe, whether you are uncertain about a task, distracted, inexperienced, or simply not comfortable, stop immediately. That is a clear sign the work is not safe to perform. We will take whatever steps necessary to correct the situation and make the job safe before moving forward. Your well-being comes first. We want every person who comes through the gates to go home the same way they arrived. If you have any questions, concerns, or need support at any time, speak with your COV representative. We are here to help you work safely and successfully. Thank you for your attention today. Stay alert, work safely, and have a productive day.